Today's parts information video down at Thumpstar's on front suspension or forks. So we're just going to give you measurements and show you how to measure the forks, explain the different types we have here and also the fork guards. Today we don't have any fast ace or D&M or genuine Mizaki shivers to show you, but we have a few other different types. So first of all, we're going to start off with your most basic upside down fork, which are these ones. They're non-adjustable, and by looking at the fork guard there, we can tell that it's just the most basic type of fork that we have. If you just look down, and even where the axle goes through, it's just a more basic kind of setup to the rest of them. So if you've got these type of forks, then yeah, you just got a sort of entry level set. Do the job, but yeah, if you want to do big jumps and racing, you might want to upgrade them. So we'll show you how you measure a fork. So you always measure from the top of the fork down to the center of the eye of the axle. And if you look there, that's 695 millimeters. So that would be the length of this fork. If you're looking at the spec, 695. And then the next measurement you'll look at is the fork diameter. So these ones are 42, 48. So as you see there, the top's 42. And if we move down to the bottom clamp, you'll see that's 48. So the specs on this will be 42, 48, 695 length. And that's how you'll know if they're going to fit your bike or not. Next up, we're going to talk about the fork guards for these forks. And as you can see there, these are the fork guards. So we'll give you some measurements of the fork guards. So total length, 250 millimeters. Width, is about 98 millimeters there. Then we'll give you the most important one, which is the eye to eye of where your bolts are going to go in. So the eye to eye is 31 millimeters for the front, and then for the side here, quite tricky with the plastic on the curve, is 46 millimeters. So that's your eye to eye for your fork guards. So last thing we're going to show you with these forks is at Thumpstar we like to have about 10 mils sticking out of the clamp there. It's more of a look thing, because you know all the motocross riders have about that much sticking out. It just looks a bit cooler than if you look at the other side where it's just flush. But it's just the way you like the look of. The reason that you might lower or raise your forks in the clamps is if you lift the forks up or lower the clamps down like on this side, this will make it a bit better for tight corners and handling. But the downfall is if you're going fast on a straight bit of road, it's more likely to get head shake. With the other side here, because it's up as high as it can go, it's going to be the maximum for doing like high speeds. So you just need to think about what kind of riding you're doing. And also, like, if you want to raise your bike, for your own size, if you want to lower it, but obviously just lower the clamps and your bike's going to be sitting lower. So yeah, that's about it for the basic set of forks. The next set of forks we're going to show you are the TSR Gold forks. These are fully adjustable forks. They're a nice set of forks. A lot of guys use these forks for jumping and racing. And they've got a real nice set of fork seals on them that take a punishment. So first of all, we're going to show you the length to the eye, like we talked about before. These are 735 millimeter forks, which are one of your most common lengths. And then clamp size, so we measure down the bottom here, as you can see, is 48, and then the top's going to be 45. So these ones will be 45-48, 735 length, if you were going to look up the specifications. So the thing about these forks is that, as you can see, they're adjustable. The R stands for rebound, and sometimes you'll get forks with compression at the top. Just depends on the fork and who makes them. And obviously, plus plus to make them harder, minus to make them softer. And at the bottom, C for compression. The same again with the plus and the minus. It's pretty straightforward. And then next we're going to show you the fork guards for these TSR gold forks. That just bolt on right there. So we'll give you the length of these fork guards, which are 250 millimeters long and then 125 millimeters wide. And we'll give you the most important bit, which is obviously the eye to eye for your bolts. So it's 25 millimeters, and this is also the same here, 25 millimeters. So yeah, if your forks measure up like that, then you've got to see the TSR gold forks. Last of all, we're going to do our Mazzocchi Shiver replicas, also known as GPX black labels or VS1 forks, depending on which factories made them. There's a few different factories that make this style of fork, but yeah, they're based off Mazzocchi Shivers. So we'll give you some lengths and show you how you can identify them. There's a Mazzocchi Shiver replica fork. So from the eye of the axle, the top is 775 millimeters. And these forks are just your standard 45/48s. So the bottom clamp, as you can see, 48 millimeters there. Top 45. So these would be 45/48 and 775 in length. So the way to identify them, as you can tell by your fork guards here, see how it has a right angle on the end. So if we look at this fork guard here, which is for them. So these fork guards, yeah, will fit genuine Mazzocchi Shivers. They'll fit GPX black labels, VS1s, and the yeah, like just the replica style, no branded ones as well. Quite a good fork. Definitely one of the better ones for the money. So we'll give you the length of the fork guards. So the length's 270 millimeters, and then the width 95 millimeters there. And the important one, which is your eye to eye on your bolt, which is 29 millimeters at the front. And then for the side here, we'll just give you the length here because it's a bit harder to do. So just the length there is 55 millimeters. So yeah, that's your Mazzocchi Shiver fork guards. Next up, we're going to show you the axles that fit the forks we've just been showing you. All these forks run the 15 millimeter axle. So as you can see, 15 millimeter axle. There is another video on axles if you want to find out more information on them. So rule of thumb, the step axle, this one here, will fit all your adjustable forks. So if we grab that TSR gold fork, you'll see fits in there, and just see it clamps down. So all adjustable forks usually have that step axle. And then the rest of your forks will just have a standard axle like this. You do get forks that will have 12 millimeter axles. They're not as common anymore, but yeah, they are out there, so just be aware of that. Next up are your front brakes, where they actually mount onto your forks. So eye to eye is 51 millimeters. So this dual piston front brake will fit your TSR gold forks because they're also 51 millimeters, as you can see. Thing to note is you can get spacers depending on how you want your dual piston to fit, because obviously every bike brand's different. And then again, the Thumpstar also has the same 51. So it also has the same 51 millimeter eye to eye. So yeah, yet again that's the same, and yes, as you can see, it has the spacers in there. The only one that is a bit different, and for example, if you did want those dual piston front brakes to fit, is just the standard fork. See if we measure here, the eye to eye. The eye to eye is 44 millimeters. If you can see that. So for example, if you wanted these dual pistons to break to fit, you'd have to get a plate made to get it to work, or you could just try and find the right front brake assembly for a start. But yeah, if you can't find one, you can just make a plate. It's not too hard. And that's it.